The word Mudu means knowledge. Let us join together without prejudice and an open mind. Welcome to the Mudu effect.
Remember to unmute it. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, everybody.
I am like busting at the seams. I've got some amazing announcements in research that I need to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to do it yet.
Oh.
No.
If you're joining us live on YouTube, yes, I'm wearing a tank top because I'm hot and I'm a little sunburned from being out at a festival today, but totally worth it. Cathedral Arts Festival was today. It's been a couple years because of COVID, and holy cow, was it busy and exciting and amazing.
Yeah, it was. I want to turn your mic up just a little bit.
Oh, I see.
I hope you can hear us okay.
Thought you'd be turning me down.
Anyway. One of the things that I wanted to go over real quick, and I'm going to pull it up on the other mini screens that are scattered around us. Got the right one. So we've added a shop onto the medutu.ca site, and we have some clothes. And
You say we so freely, but you've been working like insane amount of hours getting this up and running, and it looks absolutely incredible.
Oh, thank you. But it's still got a long ways to go. So all the shirts are designed, by Medutu Effect, and
By you.
So there is the Medutu shirts on there. There's one with a pentagram. It says, "I choose my own path." There's a rainbow baphomet. It says, "Proud." One
Order soon because, it's going to be Pride Month coming up, so.
Yep. We got another announcement on that one, too. But anyway, there's a shirt on there. I want to go through these different topics that I've got on the shirts, because these are topics that have been on other shows. And excuse me. So there's a shirt with a... well, some would call it a glyph, some would call it a stave, some would call it a sigil, some would call it, whatever. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, on one of the shirts, it has that symbol, and it says, "The cosmos is my inspiration." Of course, we have the candles downstairs, with the necromancy candles. What is it? Oh, I got to pull it up so I can read it. I just had a brain fart.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Reduce, reuse, reanimate. That's the necromancy T-shirt. And love and light and a little yourself. Now, this is one I'm taking great pride in, because there's a lot of ignorance out there. And there's a picture of a Baphomet on it, and it says, "Historical facts outweigh dogmatic ignorance." Do your homework. And if you're curious, if you join me on my occult workshop, you'd understand why.
And it's the original Baphomet, too. It's not related to the Satanic Temple or anything like that. So it's like the original.
The Eliphas Levi.
Correct.
And this one is one I thought of actually while I was at work, and I've always wanted to say this, but I never had the right wording. So I put it on a shirt as soon as I got the right wording. And it says, "A hammer cannot build a house by itself. What makes you think that crystal is going to fix your life?"
But what if you build your house out of moldavite?
Yeah, that'll fix everything.
Yeah.
That fixes everything.
It's actually pretty funny because I just watched a TikTok in a local store in town is, showing the moldavite crystal. They're like, this crystal, moldavite crystal. And they're like, oh, you're crazy for getting this as a crystal. And I'm like, dude, you're selling crystals, you're selling all these stones, and you're still calling the moldavite a crystal.
Mm-hmm.
That is insane. Like, really? You're going to call it a crystal?
Yeah.
It's glass.
Chunk of glass.
It is glass, guys. Like, there's, yeah. Although this is a fact, moldavite is actually more rare than diamonds.
True. That we know of, because they're only looking in one place.
Right, but there's like tons and tons of diamonds that are actually mined every year compared to how much moldavite. There's only one place in the world where moldavite can come from.
Yeah.
That's considered moldavite. So it is a rare,
Chunk of glass.
but it's still a chunk of glass.
The other one I have up here, I have a picture of a K2 meter on it, and it says, if you believe this is a ghost detector, then it is true that ignorance is bliss. My little cynicism is coming out on all these. Definition of occult. Noun. Hidden from view. And I can barely read it. Blind faith has distorted this definition. This one relates to some recent occurrences. I got a picture of the proverbial demon on the front. And on the back, it says, it is not the demon that you let in quotations, that you have to worry about. It's the idiots that you let into your life to exercise the demons that they can manifest. Yeah. And I just have some basic ones with the alchemy. I've got the death head moth, a bone pentagram.
Yeah,
with runes.
that's pretty lit. I like that one.
And of course, thank you, Chuck. The T-shirt says, just like the commercial does that we play every once in a while, when something goes bump in the night, sage that shit. Anyway, but the eyes flipped around.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Not office-worthy apparel, but.
What the hell you say?
I guess it depends what kind of office you go to.
Exactly. So, yeah, if you get a chance, these are farmed out. We don't carry them here.
Right.
These are done by third party and multiple printers. Most of them are from from Canada, so they are very rapid. We do have some coming to carry here in the shop, but not a large assortment.
It's just too hard to have the sizes for every single T-shirt. This way, it's more inclusive, and we don't have to spend thousands of dollars to have inventory. So. Correct. So again, shoestring budget here.
So keep in mind, if you want to get it, it's coming from another source. And I'm going to answer a comment from Michael and on YouTube. Why not? Just, throw a little hoodie over it. He's saying he can't wear it in the call center. Find you a cubicle way far away from everybody. Yeah, but excuse me. I need a sip of my coffee.
But yeah, like everything that gets ordered through the store, when you do shop at the Medutu store, it all goes to help to do what we do. We put the money right back into what we do. Everything's out of our pocket. And yeah, it gets really expensive after a while. I'm not going to lie, but we're also doing it because we love it. But it really does help out, guys. So
yeah. So anything that you see on there, or if you have recommendations, we'll come up with a design. We'll get it thrown together for you. I'm trying to debate. Yeah. Okay. Tonight's theme music. We have a theme music tonight.
Fancy.
Yeah. It's these are Norse independent artists, and I'm really struggling because I love them all. So I'm.
But you're going to be putting them into rotation, so...
They're already there.
Oh, well then, there you go. So
Yeah.
you're not going to miss out.
So I am going to, which one? Roll the dice. Okay, so Heldem and Denheim. Denheim's not really, he's an independent, but he's not. But Denheim's done a lot of stuff for movies, so I don't know. It's still an independent in my eyes.
Oh, before you go to the song, I don't know
Yeah.
if you're on YouTube, you can see my earrings. They are so cool. There was some amazing artists and artisans and crafters. I got them from an indigenous artist. She had these beautiful, beadwork, and the ends are actually horsehair, which I thought was really cool. And I'm enjoying them. They're my new favorite summer earrings. So there's not hair growing from my ears if you see a picture of me or
Not
a video.
tonight.
A good one. I know where you sleep.
Yeah. Oh, and to answer the question in Discord chat, all the items are on the madutu.ca site.
Mhm.
If you just go to the shop, you'll see it broken down to clothing. There's some banners there. There's some stuff. I still got to finish putting the stuff from our shop that we make. But some coffee mugs, even a Bluetooth speaker so you can be listening to us while you're at the cabin.
Very cool.
Yeah. So,
That's kind of handy.
yeah, it is. Well, we're going to cut to a song real quick. And when we come back, we're going to have a discussion about the new developments with the SOTG. For those who don't know, we'll explain when we get back. If we get back. Because I just made that hair comment. So it might be only one of us.
I'm too tired to do anything about it. It's been a long day.
Okay. Let's do this Heldem in Denheim. They did one called Runemal. And it's a little worried because there was one that's really long. And I don't want to play a really long one yet because this announcement's just killing me. So, you know what? I'm just going to wait, and I'm just going to go ahead with this one off of Biota. Yeah, this one's kicking it. This guy kills it.
Fridorare kiblum sem doge torge vidvini Eneftos karnes toge torthoverid semblum Tvitor din monso vrajum dem givor froda frid Ior thorum mannara doverid semblum Fridorare kiblum kan du sky
I like you.
That was great.
So, those that don't know, the SOTG is Saskatchewan Occult Technology Group. When I broke away from paranormal investigations, I wanted to turn the focus. Mostly, I couldn't do it because of my health.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I could still think. And so I wanted to put a bunch of thinkers around the table. And these are programmers. These are just a wide variety of skill sets.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm the only occultist in that little group. Anyway.
But I love how they embrace your ideas, which is really cool. But you also think as an engineer too, and you have that background. So
Yeah, it's interesting conversation. So I, in this little, I'm waving in front of the camera. There's this little static bag full of these little circuit boards. And one of the gentlemen.
I didn't know that. I thought it was something else.
Well, that's over here. But anyway, so the individual came by today. We had a meeting, and I showed him the boards, and I had him look up the specs. And when he looked at the specs, he realized where I was going with this. The reason I pick on K2 meters, the reason I pick on all this other stuff, and every time we say the word ghost and K2 meters and stuff like that, I cringe.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're just looking for blinky lights. We're just looking, we don't know what we're looking at.
Right.
We just had this conversation before we came on. You know, somebody saw a ghost here, and I'm making the quotation marks, so those of you who are listening on the radio, I apologize, unless you caught the wind movement. But could it be, I'm just throwing it out there for you to think about, could this be just another form of pareidolia? It's just energy. It's frequencies at the end of the day. Is your brain translating this event and saying, oh, it's the shape of a guy. It's this.
Mm-hmm.
It's is it another form of, even though pareidolia is related to vision.
That's a great theory. I do like that theory.
So, when these people are seeing, I've seen my fair share of paranormal events, and in the past I would say, "Oh, that's a ghost. Oh, that's this. Oh, that's that." But unfortunately, just like in the case of pareidolia, you see the face in the mirror, all these different things. Is it just your brain translating the event to something that you can relate to? So it's just food for thought. So with that in mind, paranormal teams have been investigating and using the same technology since the beginning and have not changed their approach. And that's what this group is for. Like I said, the one individual came over today. I don't want to say his name because a lot of these individuals are teachers and work for some very high-profile companies, and I don't want to mix them in with this. But once I explained to him what I'm looking for, unfortunately, right now, it's just a blinky light. It's another blinky light, full circle. But for the past several years, we've been doing research by doing a ritual, killing two birds with one stone type thing. Sorry, PETA. But in order to do this, we want to understand the whys. When we do the rituals, why does it work? It's worked for so many, for so long.
Mm-hmm.
But the why, and nobody can tell you that. So then it becomes speculation, and that's where all the frou-frous come out of the woodwork, rubbing their crystals together and saying that it's angels are making it happen, or whatever the case. I don't care. But
we're just basically deconstructing what's already there.
So we're taking the data that we collected.
Yeah.
Without a biased approach, trying not to, because it's very difficult for anybody not to. And and want to just look at the raw data. And at the end of the day, after looking at it again, because I took a break from looking at it all, because sometimes you have to step away, step further back from the painting to see the full picture. And in this case, I did, and I realized there was a common point, which we've all heard a million times, but even myself didn't clue in. Well, we always say everything is frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
And all of our data has been frequency based. So why aren't we looking for specifics?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm excited about this, because this new prototype that'll be built tomorrow will actually, we did a test run today in our meeting, just a real quick, programmed it, did a quick test run.
Mm-hmm.
And it's using the same technology that looks for microwave transmissions, but on a broader scale.
Mm-hmm.
Not only will it detect motion, vibration, but also a wide range of frequencies. So when it does, it can identify that that is in motion. Now, we want to take that a step further and actually have data on a screen. But there's going to be trigger points, and we'll go on more in depth after we build the prototype and see it actually working. And of course, the prototype is going to look like a, I don't know, Cthulhu exploded on the thing, but because it's just going to be wires everywhere until we actually put it into a housing and a working product. But to me, this is exciting because we're not looking for EMF, we're not looking for static fields. We are looking for all frequency variations. And we'll actually be able to not only track it in the circle,
Mm-hmm.
but also eventually get the data from that.
And if you don't know why that's important, it's important because we still really don't know 100% about what we're looking for. So we're basically casting a larger net. In that's the analogy I can use.
Yeah.
So, because before we had really no idea, people were just speculating, like, oh, it could be EMF, it could be this, it could be that. But this way, it's just casting a broader net to, look for everything.
Now, to point out and to be 100% clear, does that mean that we're out looking for ghosts?
No.
No, we're not. We are looking for information. We
Right.
know for a fact an anomaly happens. I mean, okay, let's define that though. Me losing my keys in the morning is basically a paranormal event.
Yeah.
Okay, you know you're going to look for something. It's not there. Now you can't find an answer to it. Now you're running around trying to find answers. That's a paranormal event.
Mm-hmm.
So,
But you're also proving too that it can that practitioners are being able to, to alter frequencies and all that. So, I mean, like I said to Matt, it'll be interesting when we experiment with the device that we'll be able to actually, it'll give us a focus point and try to make something light up without touching it, which is kind of cool.
yeah, and it's also based off of one of the things that we were able to identify is that when a group gets together in a ritual environment, after several minutes, because yes, there are multiple frequencies being emitted, and we measure all that. And the way we measure it, just so that everybody's aware, we actually line the circle with copper wire with two different size wires because we want to catch the full range of frequencies. And that's tied to an oscilloscope. And there's literally someone there recording every variation. So with those variations, at the beginning of any ritual, there's these frequencies all over the place. And then after a few minutes, it becomes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. And it stays in that same range.
And that's exciting from a practitioner's point of view because when you are in that ritual environment, you feel yourselves syncing up. I mean, you can't you can't explain that to anybody or show anybody, but when you are participating in something like that, you feel that synchronization. You know, we're feeling that physically with our senses or whatever we're sensing. So again, this is going to be something that's a validation.
Yeah, and that's now. What does this have to do with paranormal events? From a occult practitioner point of view, this is exciting. This goes beyond excitement because this is more of a validation point. But from a paranormal standpoint, if you remove the, well, try to remove, because really paranormal investigations are an occult research.
Mm-hmm.
Even though people don't want to use that term because it's the word occult. I don't know what a dictionary
It's angel
is.
research.
But
We're looking for angels.
no, but from a paranormal standpoint, once we get get it fine tuned and know the frequency ranges that are happening, now you can remove the human element out because we project energy.
Mm-hmm.
We can measure it. I don't care what you want to measure it with. You can measure it with a FLIR. You can measure it with the tri-field. You can measure it with all these different devices. Because you can speculate all day long, but if I can physically measure it, sorry, I got data to prove it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's projection energy. So when you go into a paranormal investigation, and you have a group of people coming in with either a biased approach or a prejudged approach, they go in and they say that this is, or going into a location that's haunted by an evil entity and whatnot. I'm sorry, but you are manifesting.
Mm-hmm.
It's called, you manifest your surroundings. So it's, so you go in and you create that atmosphere. So it's one of these things that if you can remove that element and have that trigger item to say, hey, these are the frequency ranges that are generated by the individuals. So just we can go more in depth on it, but it's just, to me, beyond exciting that we can actually come up with real data. We've been trying for many, many years. I've been doing this ritual since the 80s, but back then we didn't have this technology.
Right.
Back then it was all, I had multiple people sitting around writing notes.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can actually record it. Yeah, we'll get to that topic in a second. We'll throw in another song, and I'm gonna go ahead and play that rune song. It's I think this is a longer one, but I really, 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 really like it. I know Gail's probably really gonna.
Oh, and again, too, like we do have the numbers posted up on top.
Mm-hmm.
If you have something that you want to add to this discussion, if you have an idea that you'd like to share with us, by all means. So we have, outside of Saskatchewan, we have the 877-229-5171. More locally, we have the 306 400-3403. And so yeah, if you guys have any questions, comments, you just have an idea you want to share, please give us a call. It'd be great. That's how we all learn. And
yeah, don't hesitate to call and say, I think this is just absolute ridiculous.
Or join us in Discord.
Yeah, because now if you do that, I'm going to ask you why, and I'm going to ask for some type of validation.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I'm challenging you, but it's a chance for me to learn.
Absolutely.
So if you call while a song is playing, you get to listen to hold music. Sorry. Okay, but
It's not my voice?
Yes, it is.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So this is Helnum working with Denheim, and this is Runamal.
Urisas, Urus, Raido, Sovulo, Naudis, Chivas, Raido, Isa, Urisas, Urus, Raido, Sovulo, Naudis, Chivas, Raido, Isa.
Anyway, so let's get back to our topic here. This new device, if it works like we intended, it's a guarantee we're going to catch something. You know what? That's not the purpose. The purpose is to catch information to be able to dissect it. Because here's the problem. When we're running around with K2 meters and tri-fields and whatever the case may be, we're looking for one item only.
Right.
We're walking around with blinders on. When you're running around and whether you're using I don't care if it's a pendulum or whatever the case may be, and you're on an investigation, excuse me, you're walking around with blinders on. We need to be able to look around with our eyes wide open.
Mm-hmm.
So, in order to that's why we're stepping back to the basics. We're looking at the full range, and we're going to be able to dissect it from that point on with the existing data that we have.
Yeah, and also too, to add to that, is that a lot of times that we have gone to places where there has been like a ton of reported activity and things that have happened, nothing's happened, and we're like, okay, well, it could still have activity, it could still be haunted, we just didn't catch anything. But the thing is that we were casting like it was such a small percentage of what we were trying to capture. So this way we might be able to capture a lot more.
I'm going to give Raven credit on this because she got the gears going. When she said, I kept seeing this, did the cameras get this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and this is, we've always said it as paranormal investigators. If it didn't happen on camera,
didn't happen.
Right, that's a lie. It turns out your personal experience actually outweighs the technology that you're carrying.
Mm-hmm.
The reason being is for every, I'll try not to ramble on this one, but for every frame per second is 1 hertz.
Mm-hmm.
So a camera can only see, well, most cameras are set up for 29.7 or 97 frames per second. 30 frames per second is the average. Our eyes see, on average, notice there's a key word in there, average, 30 frames per second. Your brain can register up to 70 frames per second.
Right.
So there is the risk, well, you have corrupt data by using your cameras. Now, a camera that's recording up to 120 to 200 frames per second, you have a higher chance. But those, most paranormal investigators don't have that kind of money.
No.
So to sit there and say, I saw this happening, did the camera catch it? No, the camera didn't catch it because it's quite possible. And I'm not making all this up. You can look it up. It was a university study, not only in Ontario, but it was also done at Duke University on the processes of ocular frequencies and the brain. So, but it's important for us to kind of step back away from the, we have all the modern technology, that we have, and blah, 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 blah. That's when we're stepping back and looking at a wider range of frequencies, vibrations, motions.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes with all that technology, you get too caught up in the technology.
Oh, yeah, you get way too caught up in the data.
Yeah.
That's why I had to step back. A lot of this is from meditating on it, sitting down and rehashing, rethinking, and trying to think clearly. Does this mean that everything is paranormal and magical and all this? No.
No.
There's things called gravitational waves. There's things, normal occurrences. But if we can define these and understand what part do we play in that, that's what we're looking for.
We're really trying to take something that is considered paranormal and bring it to light as normal. This is normal. This is part of our environment. This is part of the reality that we live in, and that's, and it's funny because I take it to, again, I'll just throw this out there, but this week, my mom had come over and she had said that she thought it was Matt walk by the office door, And she's like, oh, is Matt up? And I said, no, he's in bed. She's like, I just saw somebody walk by with a long dark coat. And I said, oh, okay, well, that's the figure that we've seen in the hall many times or felt it. She's like, it's a ghost? And I'm like, well, we don't really know what it is, but, it could be residual, it could be this, it could be that. And she's like, you know what? She's like, I thought I'd feel a lot stranger seeing that. I thought I'd feel really weird seeing that. And that's, again, why, some people say, you don't get scared that there could be something in your building or something around you. And I said, well, no, because to me, that's normal. That's a normal occurrence. It's not really paranormal. It's just part of our environment. And again, we don't really know what we share, what energies we share with our environment. And
So
with
that, and that's a great point, because a lot of times in these TV shows, hold on, I got to do the effect on this one.
Oh, gee.
It's a demon.
Right.
So the problem is that it's all fear-induced, really, at the end of the day. When something happens and it startles you, because everybody gets startled, but because we have this ingrained culture of demons and angels and fear-mongering mind control, that's a biased approach when you're doing all these investigations. Well, just because something startles you, I go around scaring people all the time. Does that make me a demon? Shut up, don't answer. Nobody answer that. Stop. But the point is that if you let fear control you, when you're looking for anything, I don't care if it's looking for a job, and you're going out on a paranormal investigation, you're going to buy a house. I'm just picked on your mother. If you let fear control you, then it will. I mean, you're going to manifest whatever you want in that, whole imagery. So
again, your brain's trying to make sense of it. So, and it's going to your fears. It's going to anything that you basically think.
Also, fear is not very, the lack of fear is not very marketable in TV.
No. and again, too, you go to TV and they want to wrap it all up in a package, and they want to tell you exactly what is going on in your home, and exactly what it is, and the name of the person, and where they're from, and blah, blah, blah,
and
blah,
get
blah.
possessed in every episode.
Correct. and that's, unfortunately, guys, is not reality. Like, people reach out to us, and I do feel bad in a way when people reach out and they're just like freaking out, and I want to know what's here. I just want to know what it is. Well, unfortunately, like, it's really hard to say, because we do not know what a ghost is.
Right. I mean, by definition,
There's no...
I mean, a ghost is what I do in most management meetings. I will ghost that place. But it's important that that paranormal investigators out there, occultists,
you have to first admit that you know nothing.
Yeah.
Really. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah. It's...
I don't care if you've been doing this for like how many years, like you still know nothing.
One of the things that triggered also this frequency aspect is because we do know for a fact ionization changes. We've been able to catch it, but we haven't been able to measure it accurately because, well, once again, equipment's expensive.
Right.
And the range. If anybody tells you that they measured the ion change in the atmosphere, or, blah, 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 I would like to tell you the proper measurement is only within 3 inches. I'm waiting for a comment from the Rainbow Pagan on that one. But anyway, It's in close proximity. So in order to say the whole room changed, it's not really
No.
accurate. However, if the ionization changes in a room, the frequencies change because the magnetic field will change. So that's why we're focusing on frequencies. The reason we know for a fact that ions are changing polarization is because of an age-old practice.
Mm.
It's called incense. Incense is not just smoke. It's fine charged particles. Dust, basically.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of research being done to see how it affects electronic components in the event of a fire and blah, 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 blah. But when we realized that as the characteristics of the smoke would change based off of projected energy, it becomes a speculation. Now the charged particles, because once again, this is speculation. It's not an actual measurement.
Right.
It's speculation that the charged particles are changing. So we've got a whole bunch of evidence of that, but we don't have hard data evidence. And that's what we need. So if we can, tomorrow when the prototype's built, we'll be posting more. We don't hide any of this stuff. You can go to the Madu to Effect YouTube channel and look at all the information on there. We post it. Post all of our findings. Frequencies, the everything. Because it's amazing. Some people give us some input. And Science Bob?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a physicist in the States. He's thrown some theories our way and several others. Quantum theoretic physicists have thrown ideas our way that tie into wormhole theories, which is quite fascinating. But that's all led us down this rabbit hole with the frequency isolation. So more to come on that. And I'm giggling at the post. Ghost facers.
Ghost facers.
Ghost facers. Yeah, I got to do the whole, Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Jenny from Nocturne, she made me a Ghost Facers shirt. I've worn it a couple times, but I don't want to wear it out because I love it so much. It's such a cool shirt. But yeah, guys, like.
Okay, and I want to clarify. I just saw this in Discord. When I said hard data, it doesn't mean I have a crush on data.
Hard.
Yeah, hard data. Yeah, it's a hard data. So we're going to throw in another song real quick before we go down that horrible way. I was talking about my practical jokes.
Star Trek is life.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Which one you want to go for?
Well, make it good because we don't have a lot of time left here.
I know. We only got 10 minutes left. We'll go with this one, and then we'll come back and do our farewells. And hopefully, if anything at the end of the day, give you something to think about. Like I said, it doesn't matter if you sit there and say they're just full of crap. But somewhere down the line, I hope you think about what we said. And provide...
Yeah, challenge it.
Yeah.
Like, if you have, if you hear flaws in what you think this theory could be, like, just, challenge it. It's not... That's how we learn. That's how it makes us think more, too. So
yeah, because nobody's experts.
Nope.
So I'm going to put Red Robin on.
All right.
I almost said rabbit.
Rabbit.
Yeah. Which sounds like an amazing name for a band.
It does.
Allein runter fällst du in das Recht.
Okay. Yeah, actually, I'm giggling at the Discord conversation. In closing, we're constantly looking for new ways, not to validate, but to look at anomalies with open eyes.
It basically it helps us to better understand the world that we live in, the universe around us, and that we're part of.
Yeah, and the thing is that there was a, I'm just going to throw this out there. In the 16th century, there was an individual that was executed for heresy for his ideas. And I apologize, I can't remember his name.
It's a good thing you didn't live back then. You'd be dead.
Yeah.
We'd all be dead.
Well, I wouldn't have lived to this age anyway. But the...
Can I just say one funny thing, though?
No.
They said if you don't at least do one thing a day that would have got you burnt at the stake, are you really living?
Yeah. I've been burned so many times over. Ooh, got a puppy at the feet. But this individual had crazy ideas, and pretty much so, about the universe, and it was considered heresy. He was executed. And once again, I apologize. I can't remember his name. I actually have the research paper in the main hall. But this individual, his ideas of the universe are some of the foundations for today's theoretics on string theory and wormhole theory. So, do not let fear, biased approaches, destroy a crazy idea that you may have. It may seem off the wall. It may seem out of the norm. But, explore that. Don't ever be afraid or let fear hold you back from not only expressing yourself, but to seek knowledge, the facts, because all too often we're ingrained with fear, ingrained with control, and we're told that we can't look beyond that. Don't let that be an anchor. Reach your own conclusions with an unbiased approach, and continue to grow. That's pretty much all I can say to that. I don't want to, as the doctor said earlier, I don't want to get on a soapbox, but it's a huge pet peeve of mine when people want to force their opinion down your throat. This data that we will be getting is going to be put out there for you to decide. Not for us. When we did investigations before, it was when we had the show on Access 7, it was up for you to decide. We never said what was going on. And at the end of the day, your decision for you as an individual is what's important, because that's how you as an individual learn and grow. Okay, I'm off my soapbox now. Okay, well, we're going to wrap it up. We're at 11 o'clock mark. We are actually, tomorrow we have Rainbow Pagan at 3 o'clock. And at 10 o'clock we have Sinister Lux. And then we do have the show. The shop is open from 12 to 5. It's supposed to be a pretty rainy day, so why don't you come down and grab some stuff? Yeah, or just come in the main hall, sit down, read a book, get out of the rain. Hopefully it's some thunder. We need some good old lightning and thunder in the background while you're reading an old grimoire from the 16th century.
That sounds romantic.
Oh, it does. Or even just light candles. And sit just underneath Lucy and let her smile. All right. Much love to you all. Thank you for listening. It's been an absolute pleasure. And thanks for tolerating me on my soapbox.